Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Sami here. Today we are gonna see, what if Itachi gives Naruto his Sharingan, part 2, hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start please subscribe to our channel, and like this video. So let's get into the video. Konohagakure. Training Field 7. Kune's clash leaving a resonating ping, as metal grinded against metal. Eyebrows furrowed, Naruto tried to back up Kakashi with brute strength. The act in itself was enough to make Kakashi giggle, and crinkle his eyes into another one of his annoying ice smiles. Naruto backflipped, shooting his foot out to kick the hand holding the kunai, knocking Kakashi's kunai in the air, but leaving himself vulnerable, as Kakashi punched him in his back, sending Naruto stumbling into the grass. That wasn't too bad, Kakashi said mockingly. Naruto growled at him, reaching into his holster, and launching another shuriken at the masked nin. The shuriken whizzed in the air, and nearly grazed Kakashi's neck. Naruto sprinted forward again, knowing he didn't have a chance against them. He was a genin after all, despite the small advantages he might have if he used his Sharingan, or even the knowledge he gained from Itachi, he was taken on by Kakashi. Zaku had been easy enough, he had been retired, rusty, and blinded by anger, but Kakashi was a well-known nin, to the extent of being listed as an A-rank nin in Iwagakure's bingo book. Not to mention a student of his father. Taijutsu wouldn't be an option, even if he could catch him off guard. Kakashi was way too fast, taunting him by not even using his Sharingan. Neither would Naruto. Kakashi launched himself at Naruto, kunai in hand. The boy's eyes widened in fear, though not much, and deftly ducked each swing of the kunai that Kakashi threw at him. Ducking through a kunai aimed at his face, Naruto formed a plan. It was a ridiculous one that he was sure wouldn't work, but perhaps it would be enough to stall for time. Kakashi swung again, and Naruto ducked, but Kakashi used his momentum to send his left foot shooting into Naruto's chest, sending him crashing into a tree. Naruto quickly sprung up to his feet, and pulled a scroll out of his pocket, biting his thumb, and swiping the bloody digit against the parchment, streaking the blood across the whole way. There was a puff of smoke, and Naruto was holding two windmill shuriken. Cage shuriken no jutsu. Naruto whispered, launching the two of them. Kakashi's eyes widened, and pulled out two kunai, and launched them, as well. They hit both shurikens, and sent them spinning into a different direction. Kakashi gasped, as a third shuriken popped out from underneath the second one, and was heading for his midsection, ready to pin him to the tree. Use a cage shuriken, that was sneaky. Kakashi on instinct jumped in the air to dodge, and avoided the shuriken, only to get pulled back against the tree. Kakashi frowned in confusion. What the fuck? Kakashi thought, wondering what exactly was holding him to the tree. On the other end, Naruto stood confidently holding the end of a lengthy bit of trap wire. Quickly running through a set of hand seals, he yelled out, Kaden. Ryuka no jutsu. Breathing a stream of fire that ran through the wire, and headed towards Kakashi at fast speeds. Without thinking, Kakashi quickly substituted himself with a log, disappearing from sight to assess the genin. Naruto in anger sent a flare of chakra to his eyes, and activated the Sharingan. If Kakashi didn't want to use his, then it would be his own fault. Too spinning, Naruto looked at the area that Kakashi had been tied up in. If Kakashi wanted to hide, then fuck it, he would too. Disappearing from sight using the shunshin, he assessed the situation. What to do? Naruto thought. Suddenly a smile lit his face. Why the hell didn't I think of that? Putting his hand in the form of one seal, Naruto yelled out, Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Suddenly the area was littered with fully functioning Narutos. 200 to be exact. Find him. Naruto ordered, sending all his clothes to search the area. Kakashi winced at the sight of all the Narutos. He inwardly groaned, Kuzo, I was just about to read. He thought, as he placed his favorite book back in his pocket. Tenten watched her teammates spar from the distance. She had her brow raised in annoyance, and rather than bitch, she walked over to her sensei. Kurenai-sensei, how about you teach me another, she asked, avoiding a shuriken Lee had blocked, sending it flying in her direction accidentally. You want me to teach you another? Kurenai asked. Yeah, I learned the Cage Shuriken, and Cage Shuriken Bunshin, but all of them are based on weapons. If I run into an elemental user or something, I might not come back alive. I need to vary a bit to protect Lee, and Niji. Both are limited to their taijutsu, Lee because he can't use anything else, and Niji because it's frowned upon for the Hyugas to learn anything but the Jyuken. Tenten pointed out. Kurenai pondered about it for a second. You're right, you know. I should do the same myself, I rely on it too much. Sensei, and the student headed off to another sector of the training field to train some more. Lee ducked a kunai Niji sent his way, and charged at him, charging up chakra in his fist. Niji saw the attack, and smiled smugly. You're within my field of divination. Niji said, ducking the blow, and striking Lee across the thigh, causing him to stumble, but not before receiving a blow to the shoulder. Though Niji could have injured him worse doing the Jyuken, and closing the, he refrained from it, and settled for brute force. Lee flew backwards, chakra pouring into his feet to stop, feet digging into the dirt, as he finally stopped. He stared at his eternal rival in anger. It seemed that no matter how hard he tried, he just couldn't beat the Hyuga prodigy. Since the academy, he was always called dead last, and a loser, because he couldn't use ninjutsu and he didn't have the greatest jutsu. After passing a special academy test, he spent all his time trying to prove that he could be a capable ninja using only taijutsu. Hours he spent training until his body was spent and couldn't continue, yet it seemed that God favored prodigy over hard worker. It seemed that no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't beat Hyuga Niji. His sensei couldn't really help him, she was mainly a user and pretty weak in taijutsu. It didn't stop him from trying though. He would prove to the world that he, Rock Lee, would be a capable ninja, and the greatest taijutsu user in all of the 5 great nations. There would be no one better than Rock Lee. Not even Hyuga Niji. Lee charged again, and jumped at Niji, changing directions in midair, and aiming a spinning wheel kick at Niji, who blocked it with his forearm, and attempted to shove Lee back. Lee spun in midair, and used the momentum to slam his other foot in Niji's face. Niji's concentration scattered for a second, as the kick jarred him, his hands flailing for a second. A second too late. Lee landed, and swung his arm up, and uppercutted him. Lee jumped forward into a handstand, and began kicking Niji in the face, hard, each kick bruising, and busting him up, Lee moving forward using his hands, as legs. And if I cannot use ninjutsu, then I will use Tenten. Lee swore in his mind. Before he could mount any offense, Niji landed a blow to his back. I didn't want to use this, but perhaps fate chose this time to reveal my new technique. Niji spoke, and suddenly began to spin in a circle, chakra exploding from all 361 to form a spinning chakra barrier in the shape of a dome. Kaden. Niji yelled, and the attack was enough to send Lee into a tree, unconscious. Over to the left a couple of yards, Tenten was working on the new Kurenai was teaching. It was draining her chakra in mass amounts with each attempt. Despite the fact that she considered herself a decent kunoichi, especially for a genin, her chakra reserves were not enough to repeatedly use them. Perhaps by the exams, she'd be better off. She still had 4 months. Nara Shikamaru was lazy. Everyone knew that. Except Maito Guy. Come on, Shikamaru. Train until you're full of the springtime of youth. Guy complained, hovering over Shikamaru like a hawk. Shikamaru was on the floor, picking himself up for another set of push-ups, one-handed at that, and he was royally pissed off. Kuzo. The springtime of youth seems too troublesome if you ask me. Nara drawled lazily, doing another set of 25. I'm not asking. Now let the youth explode, perhaps if you wore my youthful training suit, you'd get even stronger. Guy said, almost, as an afterthought. I'm not wearing that green horde suit. That is way too troublesome, what a drag. Shikamaru complained, standing up, and dusting himself off. I then walked over to Ino, who was screaming, complaining about the dirt in her hair. Are we almost done, sensei? I need to wash up so I can see Naruto-kun. Ino asked, pushing out another 20 sit-ups. This Naruto, is he brimming with? Could you shut up about youthfulness, Guy-sensei? Ino cried out, standing up, and trying to brush the dirt out of her hair. That was very youthful, Ino said. Guy said, landing to his knees, crying out an ungodly amount of tears, using some sort of for a drab background. Chaoji apparently had enough of his training, and was lying against a tree, hand reaching into his bag of potato chips. Eyes flaming with youth, Guy rushed over, and kicked the bag out of his hands, sending it flying up into the sky in anime style. Chaoji stood up, and faced Guy-sensei, his eyes brimming with fire. Did you just kick my tasty snack into the air, sensei? He asked. It is youthful for you to eat so much, perhaps if you train, then you wouldn't be so. Before Guy could finish his sentence, Ino covered his mouth. Unlike Guy, she knew how angry Chaoji got when people commented on his weight. What were you about to say? Chaoji demanded, leaking a small bit of color intent. Nothing, Choji. Sensei was just being troublesome again. Shikamaru spoke, ready to sneak out of training, and sit in his favorite spot, and go cloud gazing again. Can I go see Naruto now? Ino demanded shrilly, making Shikamaru wince. Go see him, but keep it youthful, Ino-sen. Guy exclaimed, and turned his head back to Choji and Shikamaru. You guys have fun, but tomorrow, get ready to burn with the power of youth. Guy demanded. Yash, Shikamaru said dramatically. The fire is burning in you more and more with each day, Shikamaru-kun. Shut it already. I'm gonna kill him. Sakura shouted, slamming a chakra-enhanced fist into the tree bark, leaving a distinctive crunch as the wood splintered, bits flying around. Salty tears ran down the girl's face. He killed my father. That son of a bitch. Dumping in the air, she landed a vicious kick to the tree, bruising her shins in the process. Limping a bit, she stood up and began again. She has been trying to create a new technique, one of her own, but she didn't have the chakra for it yet. She had been practicing tree climbing and water walking, avoiding her team as much as possible. She pretty much isolated herself from everyone. Their sensei Mitarashi Enko didn't think it was time to start taking D-rank missions. They just passed the bell test today, and we're gonna start taking missions in 2 days. Sakura. Speak of the devil. Sakura found her training session interrupted by Enko. Yes, sensei. Sakura said politely, landing another vicious kick to the tree. Are you okay? Enko asked, her face full of concern. Yeah. I'm just training, making sure I'm not some weak kunoichi. I kind of want to be strong, like your sensei. Sakura stated. Why do you train so hard? Enko asked. Because I'm going to avenge my father's death. I will kill the guy who killed my father. I'm at a huge disadvantage. Not only does he use the Sharingan, but his chakra pools are enormous, according to Iruka sensei, so in order to beat him, I need to be stronger. Sakura growled out. I understand, more than you think. But hate only begets hate, and that my student leads to a path of evil. Enko explained, her trench coat billowing in the wind, exposing her fishnet top. Perhaps it's worth it. It's not. Believe me. I take it you want to kill Uzumaki Naruto. Enko pointed out. Yes, sensei. Sakura said, stopping her training, and turning around to face her teacher. I want to kill him. Have you ever tried walking in his shoes? Enko asked. Sakura shook her head. As far as I've known the boy, he's been beaten and hated. He's been refused service, unable to eat, unable to buy decent clothes or even shinobi tools. And on his 9th birthday, he was nearly killed by villagers and Sumanbu, taking from him his eyesight. If your father attacked him, perhaps Naruto was fed up and killed him in self-defense. Enko stated. Sakura lowered her glare. I don't care. He killed my father, and I'll never forgive him for it. I'm not asking you to forgive him. But the attempt of physical harm on a Konohagakure shinobi and clan leader out of self-defense is punishable by death. Training to avenge your father will make you stronger, but not strong enough. Train to protect your loved ones, and perhaps you'll be stronger than you'll ever know. Sakura stared at her sensei for a second, and let her words sink in. Was killing Naruto worth dying herself? It wasn't. But she'd wait for him to slip up, and then she'd attack. Naruto's brain processes the information his shadow clones gave him, and he sets off, knowing exactly where Kakashi's position was. Charging in, he shot up a set of kunais into the trees, forcing Kakashi to move out of the way. Once Kakashi dodged a kunai, Naruto ran up the tree, and aimed a kick to his face which Kakashi blocked, knocking him back in the air. Kakashi launched his own set of kunai, which Naruto blocked expertly. Both shinobi landed on the ground, and charged once more, before landing into some taijutsu. Kakashi kneed Naruto in the gut, and went to elbow him in the back, but a puff of smoke caught him in the face. Just as he turned around, Naruto landed a punch to his stomach, and kicked him up into the air, jumping up after him. Kakashi ran through a set of hand seals, ready to blast Naruto back down, but Naruto Kawurimi with a clone above him, landed a kick to Kakashi's back, sending the two of them crashing back down. The poof of smoke revealed that Kakashi had just been another cage bunshin. Fuck. Was the only thought Naruto afforded, as he was rocked sideways with the Jamin's fist. Naruto flew backwards, and crashed hard into the dirt. Sasuke and Kiba looked bored from the sidelines. They need to end this spar soon. Kiba complained. Akamaru barked in agreement. Naruto stood up in anger, and formed a single seal. Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. He yelled out, and another 100 Narutos popped into existence. The clones charged in, and swarmed Kakashi, who quickly decimated them. The real Naruto stood away from the massacre, a calculating look on his face. Kakashi started, and saw that he had 2 kunai in his hand, one a standard kunai, and the other frightened Kakashi. He can't know Hiraishin, he's only 12. Kakashi muttered under his breath. In Naruto's hand was a 3-pronged kunai with a seal wrapped around it. Naruto grinned, and launched the standard kunai at Kakashi, who merely sidestepped it. Kakashi's sole focus was on the kunai. Naruto launched it at Kakashi, who reacted, and launched his own kunai to block it, and sent it away. Naruto's smirk never left his face. Suddenly another Naruto appeared behind Kakashi, and held a kunai to his neck. I win. Naruto said, a gleeful look on his face. Not really. Kakashi said, poofing out of existence. Kuzo. Naruto shouted. Kakashi appeared next to him, and reached into his pouch to pull out his Ichi book. Spars over Naruto. Though I do have to commend your ingenious attack. You sent a bunch of clones to jump me, and distract me while 2 stuck behind, and into the... You don't know the Hiraishin, but you made me think you did, and launched the normal kunai at me. I had been so focused on the other one that I didn't see the clone sneaking up on me until it was too late. How did you figure it out? Naruto asked. I am a baka. Well, I was your father's student, so I saw the actual seals that go on the kunai, and when I saw yours right before you launched it, and saw it was just a bunch of scribble on it. Whatever. Naruto pouted, and began heading back to his teammates. Kakashi walked up to the 3 of them, holding 3 pieces of paper. These pieces of paper are made out of a chakra tree, and will tell us what elemental affinity you have. Kakashi explained, passing the 3 of them out. What do you mean by elemental affinity? Kiba asked. What element you are most in tune with. For example, if you're a lightning type, Raiden is much easier to perform than others. Kakashi explained, and Kiba nodded. I normally wouldn't do this. I'd start you off with tree climbing and water walking, but there's some bad things brewing, and I need you to be prepared. You're the Genin Heavy Assault Squadron, and we'll be taking a lot of C-ranked and possibly B-ranked missions in the future when you become Chunin, and you have to be fully prepared for what could be happening. What could be happening, sensei? Naruto asked. Or? It's not pretty either. I fought along the Yondaime against a Wagaker, and I just turned 12. By 13 I was A, and I needed to make full-fledged ninja out of you. Why do you think a war will break out? Sasuke asked. I took a few S-ranked missions, and something is going on. There was Sunagaker making a peace treaty with a new village called Itagaker, and no one knows who their Kage is. Megaker is still in civil war, and Kumo and Iwa are in the middle of a peace treaty, and those two nations are our biggest enemies. Kakashi explained. So how do we find out what our affinities are? Naruto asked. You basically pump chakra into the paper, and the paper will react. If it's earth, it'll dissolve into dust. If it's fire, it'll smoke and burn. If it's water, the paper will damper. If it's wind, it'll slice in half. And if it's lightning, it'll emit sparks. Kiba began pumping chakra into his paper, and it sliced in half. So that means I'm a wind user, right? Kakashi nodded, and signaled for Sasuke to go. Sasuke began channeling his chakra into the paper. Suddenly the paper began to smolder, and smoke, burning into ash. Fire type, should have figured, you're an Uchiha after all. Kakashi said, his face expressionless. Naruto then began pouring his chakra into the paper, and it suddenly began emitting sparks, causing him to drop it. Lightning, I never would have figured, Kakashi stated, crinkling his eyes into his stupid eye smile. So now that we know our elemental affinities, what next? Kiba asked, rubbing Akamaru's head affectionately. I'm going to teach you. I'm a lightning type, but since I have the Sharingan I've copied over 1,000 that will help you out. I'll teach you a C-ranked, a B-ranked, and then an A-ranked assassination. Kakashi explained. Assassination, Naruto asked. Yeah, we are in the business of killing. What part of the heavy assault squadron don't you get? Kakashi asked, ruffling Naruto's hair, who began leaking killer intent. I know. I just didn't understand what you meant at first. Naruto explained, slapping Kakashi's hand away. Well yeah, as ninjas we have to employ all forms of attack to attack an enemy. Well, it'd be better to sneak up on people and slit their throats with a kunai. Sometimes you end up in a battle with them, where you have to resort to your whole repertoire of techniques to walk out alive. Most C-ranked to C-ranked hurt an opponent, but B and A-ranked are usually for assassinations. I will teach you a C-ranked attack, a B-ranked defensive one, and an A-ranked assassination. The A-ranks I teach you aren't meant to be flashing around. Use them only when you're going to kill someone, or to protect a precious person. Kakashi explained. So the A-ranks are like a last resort, an assassination technique? Kiba asked. Yes. Mainly because there's gonna be a Sharingan user or someone who can break your technique down, and duplicate it, and then use it against you. Naruto and Sasuke snickered at the jab at the Sharingan users. Nakaka-sensei, you almost sound like a hypocrite, owner of 1,000 techniques. Naruto spoke, causing Kiba to snicker. Raising a wary eyebrow at the boy, Kakashi chose to ignore him. Eventually I want you to learn elemental manipulation and create your own techniques. Kakashi continued. Creating your own techniques can be helpful, especially if you use them cautiously. It gives you a small advantage over an enemy. What about techniques that I haven't seen in a while? If someone were to recreate them, that'd be an advantage, wouldn't it? Naruto asked. Kakashi's eyes narrowed at him. Give us an example, Naruto. The Hiraishin no Jutsu, a technique exclusive to the Yondaime Hokage. Naruto pointed out. You aren't really going to try to recreate that technique, are you? Kakashi asked. Yes, I am. Naruto stated. But the scrolls on how Yondaime made the technique were lost. Kakashi exclaimed. Naruto shrugged carelessly. What's Hiraishin? Kiba asked. It's exclusive to Yondaime. It allowed him to instantly teleport to a location with a seal that almost summoned him to that spot. Kakashi explained. Kiba looked over at Naruto, clearly impressed. So what techniques are you going to teach us? Sasuke asked, finally speaking up. Well, for Kiba I'm going to teach him Futen. Great Wind Release and Futen. Wind Bullet. Great Wind Release simply causes the user to channel large amounts of wind around their body, forcing away anything that gets too close. And Wind Bullet is that blows a concentrated ball of chakra that is fired from the mouth and hits an opponent from a distance. I don't know any A-rank techniques, so you have to ask Sarutobi Asuma. For you Sasuke I'm going to teach you Katen. Flamethrower, Katen. Wall of Fire and Katen. Phoenix Dragon. Sasuke smirked, thinking of the possibilities. Flamethrower basically blows a continuously amount of fire at an opponent, Wall of Fire erupts a large barrier of fire for protection, and Phoenix Dragon is your assassination technique. For you Naruto, I'm going to teach you Raiden. Shockwave, Raiden. Spark, and lastly my own original technique, the Chidori. Shockwave basically launches a current of lightning on the ground, and doesn't stop until it connects with the conductor. Spark is a defense that allows you to emit lightning chakra around you to stop any up-close attacks. Chidori is my own original attack. It's an air rank assassination technique that has a few drawbacks. Kakashi explained. What drawbacks, sensei? Naruto asked. You can overcome them with the Sharingan, well, most of them. The biggest one is that, as you charge at the opponent, it emits a shrill noise, like 1,000 birds chirping, hence the name. To use the technique, you have to have a ridiculous amount of speed and agility, and without the Sharingan the technique is virtually useless. Kakashi said, and seeing Naruto's confusion, he continued. At the speed you're moving when you use this, it causes almost a tunnel-like vision that doesn't allow you to see counterattacks. But with the Sharingan, that point is nullified. Naruto finished. Yes. Kakashi said, nodding. In 2 days we'll be starting D-ranked missions, and I'll train you afterwards, teaching each of you how to use your techniques. We'll start with the C-ranked, then B-ranked, and finally the A-ranked assassination ones. But you'll have to wait a bit for those, until I deem you ready. Kakashi said, much to Team 7's displeasure. Damn, I was hoping to learn Chidori today. Naruto pouted uncharacteristically, showing more emotion than he had in a while. Kakashi grinned, ruffling the boy's hair again. You aren't going to play favorites, are you, Kakabaka? Naruto asked. Kakashi crinkled his eyes again in response. Never, Naruto. Anyways, Team 7 will meet me here tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. Kakashi ordered, and Naruto glared at him. I'm showing up at 10 then. Sasuke said, earning him a soft slap to the back of the head from Kakashi. Kiba waved to his sensei, and headed back to the Inizuka district, where he would train with Akamaru for a bit. Second, Kakashi disappeared using the Shunshin. Naruto turned to Sasuke with an evil grin. So what's next, Uchiha? Naruto asked. Shut it down. How about we get something to eat? Sasuke asked. Ramen? Naruto asked, giving Sasuke the puppy eyes no jutsu. I hope you get fat, that'll be a new one for the ages, a Hokage the size of an Akamichi. You'll become the scapegoat in a sense. Iruka sensei will be like, watch out kiddies, the Hokage has an ultimate finisher, he farts in people's faces, one hit knockout. Sasuke imitated Iruka's voice. Naruto couldn't help but laugh. And you'd be the poster boy for emos. Let's all be great like Uchiha Sasuke, all we have to do is brood, and cry in dark corners, and say 2-worded sentences. Slit your wrists for 100 points, 1000 if you're as gay as him. He's the Aokage, leader of Kurigakure. Sasuke arched an eyebrow at him. Did you just go there? He asked, pushing his best friend. Yeah, I did, Sasuke. It's not like I see you out there saying more than 8-chan to any of your fangirls. Naruto replied. Oh yeah, and what about Yuha? Sasuke asked. Hey, I took Hinata and Ino on a date. To fucking Ichiraku's man. What are you going to be in a couple of years, a Hokage? Nah, more like the 40-year-old virgin. Seriously, if I actually took one of those silly girls out on a date, it wouldn't be Ichiraku, dope. Sasuke said, smirking. Of course you wouldn't. You take them to your basement and show them your box of shounen porno that you think I don't know about. Perhaps you'll start a book, Uchiha Sasuke's Yaoi Yaoi Paradise. Naruto snapped back. I'm not gay, Sasuke whined. Did you say something? Naruto asked coolly. That timing, Sasuke's eyes filled up with fire as he stared at his adopted brother. So whatever happened on the date with Hinata? Sasuke asked, as they headed towards Shasha, a pretty good restaurant in Konoha. They served a variety of things, and the good thing was that it was healthy and tasty. It was weird. She didn't talk much, and stared at me throughout the whole day with those creepy eyes of hers. I told her that she needed to get better self-confidence, that I hated weak Kunoichi and all, and her eyes watered up and stuff. I just gave a little bit of advice, and she started crying and stuff. Troublesome girl. You're an idiot. Hinata worships the ground you walk on, Uzumaki, and you tell her that. Not to mention her dad's a team who tells her she's weak and doesn't train her properly. You just added to her low self-esteem, good going Baka. Sasuke pointed out. What about Ino? Naruto blushed for a second. Sasuke stared at him, now completely curious. Ino's cool, I guess. Definitely fangirl material, but she's hot as hell. I'm only 12, and I know that much. We went to Ichiraku's and stuff, hung out for a bit, and talked, and before we left, she kissed me. It was weird. Weird? Sasuke asked, entering Shasha and asking for a table for two. Well, the kiss was all wet. It was like she was trying to suck my face off. Naruto exclaimed, and Sasuke laughed. Sasuke shook his head. So what about you and Sakura? Naruto asked. There's no me and Sakura. She never stops asking me out, and she cries when I tell her no. I told her to focus on training rather than me, and it's like I can't pass that big-ass forehead of hers. Sasuke said, clearly frustrated. The two sat down and ordered some food. Yakisoba for Naruto with some shrimp fried rice, and some red bean soup for Sasuke. Naruto, Sasuke, Ino, and Sakura walked into Shasha, rushing over to their table. After shooting a glare at Naruto, Sakura sat down next to Sasuke, and Ino wrapped her arms around Naruto, sliding in next to him. "You aren't planning on poisoning my food, are you, Haruno-san?" Naruto asked, eyeing her carefully. "No, I still hate you though," Sakura whispered, turning to Sasuke. "Did you miss me, Sasuke-kun?" "Chen." Sasuke grunted in response. Ino curled up next to Naruto, and Naruto inhaled a mixture of vanilla and lavender. Naruto stared at Sakura. "Sakura-san, I'm honestly sorry for you. I didn't know it was your father, and he was trying to kill me, and I just reacted. I'm not sorry for him, but I'm sorry for what it's doing to you. I'm not going to ask for forgiveness, nor for you to forget, but had it been a reversal of roles, you'd have done the same," Naruto pointed out. Sakura stared at him for a few seconds. "I'd rather not talk about it." "I miss you, Naruto-kun," Ino said, looking up at Naruto's face hopefully. He honestly didn't have the balls to be a dick to her. Here she was curled up against him, smelling really good, and asking for crumbs. Why be a dick to her? He couldn't deny that he liked her, even if it was just a little bit. Naruto leaned his head down, and captured Ino's lips with his own. Her soft lips were compliant, and she darted her tongue into his mouth, soft hands gripping on his arm. This time, the kiss was not all sloppy, just full of passion on both parts. Even if he didn't like her that much, he couldn't deny the fact that, as he kissed her, he had this soft tickling club in his gut. He could deal with it for a bit. Thanks to some help from Sasuke and Ino, Naruto had managed to get past the guard and into the Hokage's office. There was a reason the blonde genin was in here, a big one in fact. A vague memory had popped up during his training with Kakashi, almost urging him to knock the old man Hokage out and nick the forbidden scroll. He had already mastered the C-rank Traiton, the Gekinami, and the B-rank Traiton, Rakuhabana no Jutsu. He still had a bit of trouble getting the basics of the Chidori, much to Kakashi's surprise, but not him. With the other, he pretty much guessed a bit on how much chakra to put into them, but with the Chidori, that was virtually next to impossible. Too little chakra, and the lightning would sizzle, and then disappear, too much chakra, and the attack blew up in his face. So the last couple of weeks he had been working on chakra control by walking up trees, and walking on water. Weeks of chakra control in the hopes that it'd be enough to be fully able to harness the lightning chakra, and use the Chidori. Spatial decomposition was no real trouble for him, but the nature manipulation was a whole other story. Refining his chakra into lightning took so much control and focus that it seemed out of his grasp. So to make up for it, he planned on stealing some techniques off the Forbidden Scroll, hoping there was something his father left behind for him. Damn it, he was Yandame's son. Minato must have left some sort of contingency plan for him, in case something like this were to happen. Didn't he want his son to be stronger than he ever was? He needed that power. Konoha would never respect nor accept him without it. And for their acceptance, he'd sell his soul if he had to. "Hokage Jujutsu," Naruto shouted out to him, reminding Sandame of the old Naruto. The one that had existed before he'd been tainted by Uchiha Itachi. Whether it was intentional or not, Itachi had corrupted the boy by giving him the eyes of Shisei. God knows what the Sandame would give up just to have the old Naruto back. The smiling Baka running around with big boasts of becoming Hokage in that ridiculous jumpsuit of his. But perhaps his corruption wasn't Itachi's fault. It had been the villagers, and shinobi even who had robbed the boy of his sight, treated him like a leper, and like a burden, despite the fact that he was the one person who held back the Kyuubi, stopping them from dying. Staring at the boy cautiously, the old man puffed on his pipe, inhaling the sweet scent of the tobacco before blowing it out, watching, as it curled around his form. "Yes, Naruto-kun," the aged Hokage said gently, hoping not to do something that would set the boy off. "Did Yandame ever leave me anything? Any scrolls, any money, or something that makes my existence a little more bearable? Surely he must have foreseen the villagers' treatment of me." Naruto replied, his curious jade eyes closing for a second, making him look almost angelic, instead of a 12-year-old boy who already took the life of a retired leaf nin. The Sandame motioned for the boy to get closer, stretching out his arm, and placing his hand on the genin's head. Naruto's eyes shot wide open at the open display of affection, and gave the Hokage an aged look, one that didn't suit him whatsoever. Ruffling the boy's blonde locks gently, the withered old man clasped his hands around the boy, stifling him in a hug. "Forgive me, Naruto, forgive me for everything." Bitter tears sprang to the Hokage's eyes. He knew he had failed Naruto, much like he had Jiraiya. Allowing the momentary lapse of weakness, the Sandame placed a kiss on Naruto's forehead. "Forgive me," he begged in a tone that didn't concern him. Naruto paused, closing his eyes again in a hurry. He needed to close off the tears that threatened to spill, and allowed himself to be held. It had been so long since he had been shown any affection to. The Sandame Hokage had always resembled some sort of family to him, and, as he let the withered old man hug him, Naruto couldn't help but feel regret, and deep down he knew he forgave him. His heart threatened to burst out of his chest, as it began thumping quickly in his chest. "I forgive you, old man," Naruto whispered. The Sandaime released the genin and stared into his sparkling jade eyes, unique in their own sense, eyes that belonged to a dead man. He did. But he left specific instructions for you not to see until you were 18. The Sandaime winced, hoping the boy didn't take it too hard. Naruto paused for a second, blank eyes like a wax statue. Hi, Hokage-sama. If those are my Itachi's wishes, then so be it. Naruto responded. The look of haughty defiance crossed his face before it was wiped clean. If you want though, I can teach you a few when I get off. You can copy them with your Sharingan. The Sandaime offered, as penance. No. The bests are mastered, never copied. I will wait with you until you get off, and then you can show me, but I'm not copying them. You have me confused with Kakashi. Naruto replied, smirking. To say that Sandaime was surprised was an understatement. Hi, don't be too hard on your sensei. The copying abilities of the Sharingan are subconscious and subliminal. He is trying, you know, to make up for the last 12 years. He honestly didn't know. Sandaime said, ruffling Naruto's hair again. Naruto nodded and took a seat next to the Sandaime, and an hour later, the two left to train. Naruto was tired, bone dead tired to be exact. All he wanted was to get a few bowls of some hot miso ramen, and then jump into his bed, and ready for the next amount of pointless chores called D-rank missions. It's been nearly 2 months of doing them, and Team 7 already had a stellar record of 46 missions passed, and none failed. Hopefully they got a juicy C or B rank mission soon. Naruto was itching for a fight. Just not right now. The blonde black-clad boy began walking to his favorite restaurant, Ichiraku's Ramen. Surprisingly enough, after giving the owner Tucci a small wave, he saw his academy sensei Iruka sitting alone in a booth. Evening, Iruka-sensei. Naruto said, giving them an honest smile. Iruka was about to sneer at the boy, but stopped himself. Perhaps the Hokage was right about him, that there was more to him than meets the eye. Hey Naruto-kun, do you want to sit and eat with me? Iruka offered. Naruto looked taken back by the offer, but nodded in compliance. Taking long strides, he walked over to Iruka's table and sat across from him. You want me to eat with you? Naruto asked. Yes, is it that strange? Iruka replied. Yeah, it never seemed like you really liked me during the academy years, you know. I was far from stupid, even if I didn't get the highest grades. Naruto clarified, grabbing the bowl of ramen Aim held out for him. For a split second, Naruto allowed himself to capture her entire beauty, before cursing himself and turning away. Aim blushed, as Naruto's eyes averted away from her form, as if embarrassed. Had he been staring? Blushing furiously, he lowered his hand down to the ramen, and began to dig the fork in, spinning it around in the broth, and wrapping the fork around the noodles, and bringing it up to his mouth. After chewing the delicious noodles for a bit, he swallowed, and looked into Iruka's surprised brown eyes. I'm sorry if I was a dick to you, Naruto. It's okay, I wasn't expecting you to be any different from everybody else. I'm sorry about your parents though, so I understand your uneasiness around me. Naruto explained. The scar gave him a blank look before replying, I should have been better, simply because I know what it's like to be alone, to not have parents. But I was stuck too deep in my hatred of the Kyuubi that, like the villagers, I pretty much passed it down on you, even if it was through mocking and jeering in the academy. Frankly, as soon as you came in I was about to glare at you when I started thinking about what Hokage-sama said to me, and he was right. You are different from what many believe you to be, even now. Iruka responded. The few emotions flickered through Naruto's face before he brushed them away casually. It's alright, I understand why things were like they were. I probably didn't help much either with everything I did. Naruto said, looking crestfallen. Though you could make it up by paying for my ramen. Iruka nodded. That sounds agreeable. Yada. Naruto cheered. 10 more bowls please. He yelled towards Aim. Iruka's sweat dropped before his face fell on the table with a thud. Team 7, you are assigned to a D-ranked mission. Your mission is to search and capture toward the daimyo's cat. No. How many more times do we have to search for that baka cat? If I have to find that team it's going to be searched and destroyed. Old man, we cranked out 46 missions in nearly 2 months, and all of them are chores. I'm tired of searching for that cat. I don't blame him for running away. I'd run away if I had to go back home to that fat bitch. Naruto swore. Naruto. The aging Hokage said, puffing on his pipe to disguise his laughter. My apologies, Hokage-sama. Naruto said, his head hung down. It's alright, I once was a genin myself you know. If you wanted a higher ranked mission you should have told us so. The Hokage reprimanded. Yosh, Lord Hokage, I want an A-ranked mission. Naruto demanded, and the rest of Team 7 faced failure. I was thinking more like C-ranked, Naruto-kun. The Sandaime clarified. What's the mission of Hokage-sama? Kiba asked. You are to protect a bridge builder by the name of Tazuna. Escort him back to Nami no Kuni, and protect him until he finishes the bridge that he's working on. I can't stress how important this mission is to Konoha, since it would allow Nami to start their own import and export business, making us favorable in their eyes, so they could do business with us. Also over the next 2 years they plan on starting a village in Nami called Namigakure, and will need them as allies, so for everyone's sake, you cannot fail this mission. The Sandaime stressed them. Hi. Sasuke, Kiba, Naruto, and Kakashi said simultaneously. In fact, here is Suzuna coming in right now. The Sandaime said, and an old man walked in, smelling sickly of alcohol. These guys are the ones who are going to protect me. You have to be shitting me, and look at the blonde one, he looks pretty stupid to me. Suzuna drawled, pointing his finger at Naruto. Naruto didn't take to that well, and launched a kunai at him that embedded itself directly over Suzuna's head. Suzuna-san, I cannot stress how important it is for you not to insult Konoha Shinobi. It could very well be your last mistake. Naruto growled out. Seeing this, Sandaime puffed his pipe once more, and muttered under his breath, apparently Naruto doesn't get what looking favorable for a client means. Seeing the kunai almost stab him in the head was enough to nearly sober up Suzuna. Holy shit, the blonde one's a hothead. Anyway, the rest of the bridge should only take me about 2 weeks, maybe 3, so if you don't mind, how about you pack it up, and we can head out. Suzuna retorted. Before they could head out, Kakashi slapped the back of Naruto's head. Naruto turned around, ready to strike, but Kakashi grabbed his shoulder. You don't throw it at the client. He reprimanded, crinkling his eyes into a smile. Naruto grumbled, but nodded afterwards. Scurrying out of the Hokage's tower, Naruto ran towards his room, pulling out several storage scrolls, and sealing a few sets of clothing into them. Making sure he had a full stock of shuriken and kunai before heading out towards Sasuke's room. Seeing the room was empty, he figured his roommate was out by the gates, probably waiting for Kakashi's late ass. Mumbling something incoherently about a certain, the blonde genin formed a single-hand seal, and disappeared in a flash of lightning, his upgraded version of the Shunshin. Minutes later, Suzuna and Team 7 began their trek to Nami no Kuni, the land of the waves. Since it was an escort mission, they kept quiet, and moved along at a fast pace. Kiba, like usual, was carrying Akamaru in his front jacket, the cute puppy keeping his eyes and nose sharp, making sure there were no enemies around. Kakashi on the other hand, trusted his team enough to pop out his infamous orange-clad novel. Naruto and Sasuke on the other hand, had a hand on their kunai holster, constantly at the ready. Akamaru began barking, as they stopped after 4 hours of traveling. What is it, boy? Kiba asked, and Akamaru continued his frantic barking. Naruto saw this, and walked over to Kiba, and petted Akamaru's head to distill his fear. What's wrong, Kiba? Naruto asked. Akamaru is saying for us to be careful, that there is something out there. He said he noticed the smell a half-hour ago, and now it's been hitting him strongly. I'm noticing it now too when I focus chakra to my nose. Kiba explained. Naruto took it in, and pondered for a second. He then turned around to Kakashi, who gave him this small nod. Suzuna-san. My comrades here are telling me that there are enemies somewhere around the area. We have been hired to do a C-rank mission to escort you to Nami, and protect you from thugs and bandits. When you hired us, did you know there would be none involved? Naruto asked, activating his Tsutomu Sharingan. No, I didn't know. You're lying, these eyes do not deceive me. Why would you ask for such a mission for lowly genin like us? If we encounter any nin or above, this mission would be easily classed as an BRA rank mission. For now we'll stick to it, so you can either pay us the difference now or we will drop the mission, for that is our right. Naruto growled out to the drunk. Please, you can't do that. Our village couldn't afford a BRA rank mission. This mission has left us poor enough, as it is. If you guys abandon now, the whole country is fucked. Suzuna cried out sadly. You just don't get it. You could have asked the Hokage for help, and he would have understood. I, on the other hand, am not as sympathetic as the old fossil. We are genin, the lowest of ranks, and if we encounter shinobi of caliber, we could all easily die. No wonder you were so hesitant to have us as your team. Naruto said, as an afterthought. Please, I need your help. Naruto looked at Kakashi with disdain, and nodded at him to take charge. With all due respect to Suzuna-san, it's not fair for us to take a higher rank mission, and then get short on money for it. If you want us to take the mission, you're going to have to offer us something or else we will return to Konohagakure. Kakashi said stoically, his face unrevealing of the emotions he felt inside. What do you want? Suzuna begged. Sasuke walked up to the bridge builder, and gave him a cold glance. HN. If we take this mission, you will accept our Hokage's terms for exports of goods. And to pay us back, the 4 of us will take a small chunk of stock for the upcoming village of Namigakure. Not enough that it'll hurt the city, but enough that way you bastards get fat from the money, some of it will go to us too. Sasuke said. Damn, I hadn't thought of that. Naruto and Kiba thought at the same time. Kakashi couldn't help himself, and let out a small giggle at the idea of it. That's outrageous. Suzuna cried out angrily. Kakashi snarled, and grabbed the front of Suzuna's shirt. No, what's outrageous is that you hired 3 genin to fight off some enemy nin, they're straight out of the academy. I know they're good, and so am I, but if you don't agree, and we encounter some ARS rank missing nin, we're done with you. Kakashi warned him, letting go of his shirt, causing Tazuna to fall to the floor in a heap. Tazuna weighed the possible outcomes. If this genin team didn't help him, he could easily die, and the bridge would never get built, and his people would die one by one, Inari included. We're not asking for much, Tazuna-san. But we do need to know exactly what's going on in Nami no Kuni. Naruto offered. Fine, I'll agree to your conditions. Each of you will get 2% of the total income Nami makes. And, as for what's going on, the problem is Geto. Tazuna replied. Realization dawned on Kakashi's face. Geto, as in the CEO of Geto Industries. Kakashi asked. Yes, basically, a year ago he showed up in Nami, and stopped us from building our bridge, and enslaved our people. After we completely submit to him, he wants to start his own village in Nami for his band of missing nin and samurai, getting them to export as slaves and drugs. If we don't stop him, my daughter and the females in Nami will be nothing more than sex slaves, and kids like my grandson will be used as containers for Geto's drugs. I'm sorry I lied, but please, I was expecting a team up for this. I need your help. Tazuna begged. Naruto looked at Sasuke and Kiba, who both nodded. Then over to Kakashi, who nodded as well. Fine, we'll help. Exactly how much were you to pay me if I manage to kill Geto himself? I can bring his head to you for a small fee. Naruto asked. 500,000 ryo to be paid over 5 years, not including what you'd get from your 2%. Tazuna said, smiling at the thought of ridding himself of the short bastard. Hi, I'll kill Geto for you. Naruto replied, to which Kakashi couldn't help but shake his head. What, I get to kill a bad guy and make some money too. Why wouldn't I do it? Naruto asked his sensei. If your father could only see you now. Kakashi whispered to Naruto. He probably would have done the same thing, I think. Naruto chortled. Now, we know thanks to Akamaru that there's going to be 2 nin coming up ahead. Be on the lookout for anything suspicious, and we'll get him. If you overlook anything, it could be your life. He said to Kiba and Sasuke. Sasuke grunted. Team 7 and Tazuna continued their trek to Nami, and the next morning Akamaru woke Naruto up by barking constantly. Seeing as Naruto had awoken before Kiba, the tiny white-furred puppy ran over to Naruto and began whining, climbing up on Naruto's stomach and licking his face. What is it, boy? Naruto asked, running his fingers through Akamaru's fur. Akamaru yipped a couple of times, and Naruto decided to wake Kiba up. Crawling low in the tent that they had set up the previous night, Naruto reached over to Kiba and shook him. When Kiba wouldn't wake, Naruto began channeling some lightning chakra and shocked Kiba, who woke up with a start. Don't bite me there, Akamaru. Kiba yelled out, rubbing his eyes to stare at Naruto and Akamaru curiously. I wonder what you were dreaming about, dog breath. Naruto chided, and Akamaru growled at him. He's the one dreaming it, not me. Naruto replied, petting the dog's head and avoiding the tiny teeth that flashed at him. Shut up, Naruto. What's going on? Kiba asked. I don't know. Akamaru woke me up, and he's been whining since. I think something's going on. Naruto explained. Akamaru ran over to Kiba and began yipping again. He's saying someone found us. That Kakashi is battling someone outside. Kiba said, getting up to his feet hastily. Naruto did as well, jumping up to his feet and grabbing his kunai and shuriken holster, attaching them to his pants, and grabbing his scrolls, shoving them into a few pockets, before the two of them ran outside to see what was going on. Outside, Kakashi was battling a swordsman from Kiri. Naruto could tell as much from the 8 that was cocked to the side. Naruto closed his eyes and prayed it wasn't a member of the 7 swordsmen from the mist. Before opening them, Sharingan activated. Kakashi seemed to be struggling with him, barely parrying the sword's blows with a kunai, his vision affected by the rapidly disappearing mist that had been hovering over the area. Kurigakure no Jutsu. Naruto thought and looked over to his left, seeing Sasuke with a kunai in his hands, blocking any attempts made on Tazuna from the swordsman's clones. Fuck me. Kiba whispered fearfully, as the color intent coming from both nin was stifling in the air, causing Kiba to pant slightly. Chill out, Kiba, go help Sasuke fend off any attacks on Tazuna. I'll help Kakashi. Naruto ordered. Hi, Naruto Taichu. Kiba replied, before he and Akamaru began sprinting towards Tazuna and Sasuke. Trying to determine the best strategy to take on the freakishly tall with his mammoth sword, Naruto gave up and decided on a frontal assault. Pulling some shuriken out of his holster and launching them at Zabuza, he grabbed a single kunai and sprinted ahead. His speed was unmatched by any genin, as he appeared next to Zabuza in 3 seconds. Zabuza ducked the shuriken someone tossed at him, before spinning around and kicking Kakashi in the face, knocking him back a few feet. Before Zabuza could make an attempt on Kakashi, there was a yellow blur, and his jaw was racked with pain, as a black-clad blonde slammed his fist into his face with enough force to rock Zabuza's body. Before Zabuza could react, the short blonde appeared in front of him and kneed him in the face, breaking his nose and sending blood gushing from it. Naruto went to kick his face in, but Zabuza grabbed his leg and kicked Naruto in the chest, knocking him back a few feet, slapping the water with a sickly smack. Naruto stood up and glared at the troll. Who are you? Naruto demanded. If you must know, I will be your killer. I am Mamachi Zabuza, ex-Jounin, and missing nin of Kurigakure. If you were wise, you'd run, but you won't. You're one of those stupid genin who simply doesn't know when to give up. So I will break you. Zabuza grabbed his sword and was about to strike when he saw a flash of yellow ink coming and blocked the attack with his sword. I wouldn't, not until I become Hokage and show the world they were wrong about me. Naruto growled, blood-red eyes staring at the missing nin. You're a fast kid. Tell me your name before I kill you. Zabuza ordered. Uzumaki Naruto, the next Hokage. Naruto replied, ducking a punch that Zabuza threw at him, his kunai grinding against the mammoth sword to prevent the sword from cleaving his head. Sorry kid, but you'll never become Hokage. Zabuza said cruelly, grinning behind the bandages. Even if you were an exceptional genin, you don't stand a chance against me. I am from Kurigakure, and I am very exceptional with water-based techniques. Zabuza bragged, spinning around his sword to kick Naruto in the face, knocking him clean across the beach and into the water. This is my domain. Really? Naruto said, standing up, wiping the blood from his mouth and spitting it to the side. Zabuza began running through a set of hand seals as he ran onto the water, chasing after Naruto as he was about to unleash his attack. Water style. Water dragon jutsu. Zabuza yelled, and water began swirling about in the water before it began to rise, taking the shape of a dragon, and it rushed towards Naruto who did nothing. The water dragon flew towards Naruto and collided with him head-on. Knowing that it was it for the blonde genin, Zabuza began laughing until he saw poof of smoke. Bird, dog, ram, horse, dog, dragon, snake, bird. Naruto stood on the sandy beach and, as Zabuza turned around, he unleashed his attack. Lightning style. Shockwave. He bellowed and slammed his hands to the sand, sending electricity coursing through the sand and into the water, coursing its way to Zabuza. Zabuza screamed as the water he was suddenly standing on warmed up and he began convulsing as torrents of electricity coursed through his body. Kakashi appeared behind him and held a kunai to his throat. Today you die. Kakashi growled out and slit Zabuza's throat. Naruto was about to cheer when suddenly instead of blood, water began oozing out of Zabuza's neck before dissolving into a Mizubunshin. Kakashi looked taken back and suddenly he screamed, Naruto, jump. Before Naruto could do anything, Zabuza's sword cleaved right through his torso, cutting him in half. Blood sprayed on Zabuza's face. You didn't think you were the only one with clones, did you kid? No, I wasn't a jackass. Naruto said, before exploding into smoke, revealing it was another shadow clone. Hidden leaf style to jutsu. 1000 years of pain, Uzumaki style. Naruto yelled, charging his kunai with lightning chakra before appearing behind Zabuza and shoving the lightning kunai into Zabuza's rear. What the fuck are you doing? Zabuza bellowed, but instead of letting it go, Naruto continued channeling chakra into the kunai, sending bursts of lightning into Zabuza as blood began to coat the kunai. Call it an Uzumaki enema motherfucker. Naruto yelled, launching Zabuza up in the air, who flew up and landed on the water with a loud smack. Tossing the bloody kunai to the side, Naruto was about to storm to Zabuza again, when the area was once again coated with a dense mist. Kakashi began to scout the area before shunching away to make sure Sasuke and Kiba were okay. Seeing they were fine, Kakashi disappeared, single Sharingan eyes scanning the mist to find him. You got balls, kid. But you don't stand a chance against the demon of the mist. Do you know why I'm called that? Because when I killed 100 academy students in minutes without even studying there. I'm the best assassin from the mist, and can kill you over and over with my silent killing technique. Zabuza bragged. You aren't a demon, Zabuza. A deadly shinobi maybe, but not a demon. I'm a demon, Zabuza, and if you think for 1 second I don't know where you're hiding in the mist, you're clearly confused. You're just a kid, what do you know about demons? Zabuza asked. You heard about the Kyuubi attacking Konohagakure 12 years ago. The Yondaime Hokage couldn't kill it, so he sealed it within an orphan, within me. I'm a demon, you're nothing but a one-up, and you'll realize it soon. Zabuza was shocked by the kid's confession. You want to work for Gato, a man who's enslaving a country and raping its women. That doesn't make you a demon, it makes you a bitch. Naruto shouted out, powering his chakra, as it began flaring brightly, blue disappearing, as red chakra took over, spiraling over Naruto's body, and taking the face of the Kyuubi. Oh no, the seal. Kakashi yelled, running through a set of hand seals, all 5 fingers lit up. Naruto began his hand seals. Ox, rabbit, monkey. Clasping his right bicep with his left arm, he began channeling lightning chakra to his hand. There was a surge of lightning, and Naruto struggled to control it as he charged at Zabuza, his hand lighting up as sparks began spattering about. Naruto! Kakashi yelled. But in his rage, Naruto was deafened by his cries as he disappeared in a flash, a bright blue flash following him as he charged in towards Zabuza. Several things happened at once. Just as Naruto made it to Zabuza, so did Kakashi, who slammed his lit fingers into Naruto's stomach, where the Kyuubi seal was at. Fuinjutsu. 5-pronged curse seal. Kakashi yelled, destroying the current control Naruto had over Chidori. The Chidori slammed into Zabuza's heart, and instead of killing him it shocked him, due to the loss of chakra control on Naruto's behalf. They blew up, searing the three ninjas' eyes, as they flew backwards. Naruto fell backwards unconscious, and Kiba ran over to him to assist, and, as Kakashi sprinted towards Zabuza, numerous flew, and landed in Zabuza's neck. Kakashi looked up to see Akiri Hunter Nin, more in hand. Ignoring him for a second, Kakashi bent down to check Zabuza's pulse. There was none. The swordsman was dead. Kakashi slumped over himself once he made it back to the team, falling next to Naruto. Watch Tazuna. Sasuke ordered Kiba, as he charged at the Hunter Nin. Who are you? Sasuke demanded, sending up chakra to his eyes, just in case. The Hunter Nin saw the Sharingan, and faltered for a second. I'm Akiri Hunter Nin sent to kill that scumbag. A slightly feminine voice called out. Why wait until now? Sasuke shot back, angry that the Hunter Nin had been coward enough to let them fight his battle. Because I'm a true shinobi. Why exert energy in fighting him when he's at full power, when we have some very disposable genin here ready to help? Now if you excuse me, I have a head to cleave. The Hunter Nin disappeared in a swirl of wind and ice, appearing over Zabuza's body, and the two disappeared. Sasuke was pissed, royally pissed. Both he and Kiba had been so scared, they let Kakashi and Naruto do all the fighting, while they hung back and protected Zabuza. They were comrades for fuck's sake, and Naruto was a brother to him. He almost lost all self-constraint when he thought Zabuza had chopped him in half, but the mission was dire. The Hokage had given it to them in confidence, believing that they could do what was needed to ensure an allegiance with Konoha and Nami. Running over to Naruto and Sasuke's fallen bodies, he turned to stare at Tazuna, glaring at him. This is what happens when you lie. We could have lost someone today. How far away is your house? Sasuke demanded. 2 miles east. Tazuna replied. Fine. Sasuke snapped, walking over to Naruto's body and picking it up. Let's go, we have to heal, as fast as we can. I don't think we saw the last of Zabuza. Sasuke replied, disappearing in a flash. Thanks for watching my video, leave a like if you enjoyed my video, and also do consider subscribing to my channel.